Good afternoon and welcome to the Computer Studies presentation. My name is Jason and I will be your host today. First, you'll hear from Bill, our Dean, followed by Tim, our Associate Dean, and then Scott, a member of our faculty, to walk us through a brief presentation. We will then move to the question and answer with our panel after the presentation. Just a reminder to ask questions during the presentation, put them into the chat, and we'll do our best to answer them during the question and answer period. Over to you, Bill.
Thanks so much, Jason. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Bill Angelakos. I'm the Dean for Technology and Visual Arts at Georgian College. Thank you so much for being here today, attending our Computer Studies academic session. This will be a great opportunity for you to find out more about our programs for our experts, our expert faculty and staff, and get a chance to ask questions and hopefully get you the answers you're looking for. Remember, it's your time to explore, ask questions, and really get a good sense of the program you're interested in. Thanks again for being here. I'll turn it over now to Tim Kurolik, Associate Dean for Computer Studies and Design Visual Arts, to say a few words. Thanks again.
Thank you, Bill. Hello, everyone. Welcome to today's session, and thank you for being here. We're excited to have you joining us, and we can tell you more about our programs in computer studies. We have quite a diverse range of programs, including computer programming, computer networking technician, big data analytics, and a new program that we're launching in artificial intelligence and more. So we're excited to tell you about all of those, and we have a number of our expert faculty here to share their insights with you about these programs and share information about admissions, career prospects, and what you'll learn in each of these program areas. Many of our graduates have gone on to work with multinational corporations, governments, nonprofit organizations, and other institutions within the community, or have launched their own businesses as entrepreneurs. And so this set of program areas can lead to a wide variety of different careers. And I think part of what sets us apart as an institution for learning computer studies is the strength of our industry connections and industry partnerships. Our faculty have worked in the industry for many years and have built solid relationships, in addition to which we have a strong alumni network. Another thing is the events and networking opportunities that are available within the program. Our students participate in hackathons, networking events, conferences, and other things that are really exciting throughout the year. And most of all, it's our people that sets us apart. Georgian, in addition to having faculty with great industry connections, we have a team here that is amazing teachers, and they really care about student success, and you would be in good hands coming to Georgian to study with us. So thank you very much. I'll turn it over to the team now.
Thanks very much, Tim, and thanks, Bill. If I could have control for presenting the PowerPoint.
You should have a share button, and then I can put it up for you.
Thank you. Okay, I have the PowerPoint up.
Yep, you're good to go.
Thank you. Just confirming that everyone can see the Get Ready to Experience Georgian screen.
Yep.
All right, so welcome everybody, and I'd like to talk a little bit today about computer studies. You've heard briefly from Bill Angelakos, the Dean for the area, and Tim Kurolik, the Associate Dean for Computer Studies as well. So what I'd like to talk a little bit is give you kind of a broad overview of the Computer Studies department and some of the things we do, the programs that we offer, and the initiatives that we're involved in for the benefit of our students. So first I want to talk a little bit about some of the things that make our programs so amazing. Firstly, it's about people, and you know, we have the very best faculty, teaching faculty. We have support staff, administration that we truly care about the student success. We use the very latest in technology, so we take a very kind of bleeding edge approach to our curriculum, which is of a benefit to the students, because by the time they graduate, they are armed with the latest and greatest in technology skills. We have great employers that work with us very closely to you know, not only build co-op opportunities but job prospects after the fact. Our student support is second to none. You know, we make sure that everyone is looked after from start to finish, and then there afterwards after graduation as alumni. And of course, industry is behind us all the way with strong what we call program advisory committees, which help us to make sure that we're steering our programs and our offerings in the way that best serves students. Often people wonder, you know, what technologies do we cover in our computer studies department? Well, we have a you know, a great wide variety of programs involving both current and emerging software. So we deal with not only legacy software that is still being used by industry, but also current and up and coming software and languages that are really yet to hit the ground, you know, kind of production capacity. We also leverage state-of-the-art hardware, and by hardware also, that means that not only are we using terrific physical hardware in the sense that you know, the most modern switches, routers, servers, but also virtual hardware, so that provided by cloud service providers. And we partner with some of those organizations that are best in class, such as Amazon Web Services, Google Cloud, and Microsoft Azure. So we're looking at also giving students access to all of these various technologies and the companies that offer them, and so that our students are prepared to hit the workplace and offer these types of technology. What kind of career paths are available to our graduates? Our graduates find themselves in any number of industry verticals, from healthcare, transportation, energy, logistics, consumer packaging. Really, there's no limit to what type of company or companies our graduates are required. As you know, information technology and computer technology really powers modern business. And without these kind of people and without their skills, you know, business can't run. So it's amazing. We have graduates down working at Tesla, working on JavaScript applications. We have students working at the data centers in big Canadian banks, and everywhere in between. So it's really quite amazing to watch our students and some of the things they do with these great programs. We also support students who are entrepreneurially minded or have their eyes on kind of a startup operation with great programs for the entrepreneurship, the Henry Bernick Entrepreneurship Center. So we work with them. We also work with the Center for Applied Research and Innovation to engage industry and provide students with support on kind of investigations into different applications of technology and how that can solve modern day problems. We have a terrific number of university articulations. So if graduates are interested perhaps in moving on and continuing with their academic career, we work with universities and colleges all over the world. And there's a growing number of these programs whereby you can continue to open more doors for yourself and move into ever more interesting fields. And also as one of the Ashoka Changemaker institutions, we champion social innovation and students who are interested in social causes and things that will, ways in which technology can be used to make to improve people's lives, and that's a really big part of what we do. So why come to Georgian? Why come here for all of these types of courses and programs? Well, we have beautiful, outstanding facilities, labs, and classrooms. They're bright, they're comfortable, and it's just a pleasure to learn here. We also are located next to the Ontario Great Outdoors, so we are right in the middle, just south of Cottage Country. So students have access to all of the amenities in the local area. The campus itself is very picturesque, overlooking Little Lake, and if you like if you appreciate the Four Seasons, it's a beautiful place to be. We have amazing student commons areas. You see this image here. This is our new Advanced Technology Center that give people places to collaborate and learn together between classes. And what better place to learn and to grow in beautiful Barrie, Ontario. So in terms of the computer studies program offerings, we have our what we called our 2-year and 3-year diploma programs. We have the Computer System Technician Networking program, which focuses on infrastructure for the hardware, both virtual and physical hardware that's required for IT infrastructure. We have the computer programming and programming analysis programs, 2- and 3-year programs respectively, which also include co-op, and these focus on building your skills in various programming languages and platforms to take on any number of roles, developing desktop apps, mobile apps, web applications, and perhaps other services in any variety of capacities. We also offer the 2-year interactive media design web program, which focuses specifically on web-based technologies, user interface design, and powering the modern web, and through cross-platform and open technologies. That is also a co-op program. Some of our grad certifications, Tim mentioned the new artificial intelligence program, which we're very excited about. We also have a big data analytics program, which is very popular. We also have the information systems security certificate, which is also involves a co-op, and that will help you learn how to secure networks, harden operating systems, and provide security services to our expanding IT infrastructure. Also, if you're interested in mobile application development, we have a program that allows you to learn how to develop and deploy to market apps for a variety of different platforms, iOS, Android, and emerging platforms. We also offer, as a grad certificate, our project management program, and the Research Analyst, which is a co-op program. So at this point in time, maybe I'd like to open up for questions. We have a speaker panel available today, so we have some of our terrific faculty who have given their time to perhaps field any kind of questions that you might have. We have Jessica Gilfillan, who's a faculty member with Computer Studies. She teaches in interactive media design web. She also teaches in other programs, a multi-talented individual. We have Ian McWilliam, who coordinates the computer systems tech networking and also the information systems security programs. while also teaching. So a terrific resource for you. And also we have our coordinator for the Research Analyst program, Richard Ronaldo, who can also answer questions about that very popular program. Jason?
Thanks, Scott, for sharing that wonderful information, and to Bill and Tim for the warm welcome. We're now going to be moving into the Q&A session. If you have any questions, please add to the chat window. So the first question that we have, Scott, I think this one would be for you. The faculty or the students would like to know about hackathons, and what kind of hackathons and what kind of topics would they sort of cover?
Yeah, we engage with a number of different companies. They're always interested in these type of events. We host some of them as well. And so hackathons are where we students sign up. Usually there may be, usually it's free, so maybe sometimes there's a small nominal fee, but the students get together in teams to address a challenge, and they may be there for, usually they're held over a weekend. There's pizza and pop, and so they're exciting because you know, these are real world challenges, and you get to work with people kind of in a kind of a simulated pressure cooker environment, but it's all for fun. But in so doing this, the benefit to hackathons are that, you know, industry, our industry partners, employers, they're looking at these kind of activities because they're looking for talent, and this is a great opportunity. You know, we always encourage and like to host a variety of different hackathons to help showcase our student skills and abilities.
Perfect, thank you. We do have a question. I'm not sure who would be best to handle this one. It's to talking more about our artificial intelligence program, the new artificial intelligence. Anyone want to handle that one? Scott or Ian?
I'll field it, and maybe I'll pass it off to Ian if there's something that he might be able to add to.
Go ahead, Scott.
Sorry, what was the question? What did they want to know?
So they just want to know. They want to know more about the artificial intelligence program, just in general.
Well, the AI program it emerged because we see a growing need for AI and machine learning technologies. You know, they're beginning to power things like you know, you think of simple things like walking into a room and turning on a light. You know, the electrical grid for the province is we're beginning to build out things like smart grid technologies, where you know, how we manage the grid and storage and bring on renewable energy technologies, for example. That has to be those billions of decisions that have to be made every year have to be controlled by something more than a human being sitting at a switch. So AI technologies are being leveraged in industries of all types. But you know, the computing power and the resources needed to drive AI, we do need to build that out. But we also need people to understand artificial intelligence, to help demystify it. Some people are very hesitant about AI technologies. You know, as with any technology, you know, technology is just a tool, but how we apply it and what we do with it is, you know, the idea is we want to solve human problems, and we want to address business needs. And so this program has evolved as a way to help people become familiar with the current AI platforms that are out there, and to understand how to apply them to solve business problems and to solve human problems. Ian, do you have anything else to add about that?
Sure, I will add a couple things there, Scott. One that's very interesting, and I was talking to our colleague Ross, who is helping to shape that program, relates to Amazon Web Services and the cloud services that AI relates to. So we're actually we are an AWS Academy already, which is awesome, and we're going to have access to a number of services within the cloud that are specific to AI, and they're very interesting, and you know, it's where a lot of the jobs are landing. So there's, you know, it's not just AWS, but there's a number of different you know, cloud companies that have these AI services that you'll see if you were to take that program, you'll see them in different courses, and it's very exciting. It's also very interesting as well.
Perfect. Thank you, Scott and Ian, for that answer. Ian, I'm going to give you this question. Someone wants to know about co-ops. They want to know if they're paid. How would they get their co-op job? And can you give some examples for some computer programming companies that would be hiring as well?
Yeah, absolutely. So it's a great question, and it all starts right in the first few weeks at Georgian College in your first semester. Co-op's very important to us, and it's a great way to get work experience and possibly hit that job after our programs. And what happens is the co-op team, there's a number of co-op consultants and coordinators as a part of the computer studies team that will have an actual course. So there's an actual co-op class that you'll take every week, and they will help you get through that whole pathway, that whole process of applying for a co-op job and doing the interview, fixing your resume. So they help a lot with all of that. And then a great thing about Georgian College is that we have a vast network of employers that offer us co-ops, specifically in computer studies. And so we actually have a job bank within that's just for our co-op students, and they can go there to start applying for jobs, and it really works. It works really well that way. And they don't have to use that particular job bank. If they find a job somewhere else in the GTA or somewhere else, they can go that path. But they are given the tools to get the co-op. And yes, they are paid. There's probably a few occasions where there's some specific type of internship where maybe it's not paid the same rate or something like that. But typically, yes, the co-ops are paid. And there was another question. It was about programmers specifically. I mean, there are companies within the Barrie region that have hired a number of our programmers and all of our computer studies students. But I mean, they're everywhere. I think Scott even has a student who ended up in the States working. Am I correct, Scott? It was Tesla that they were working for?
Yeah, I was working with Tesla on some of the JavaScript applications that were used in the some of the consoles in the vehicles.
Perfect. Thank you, Scott and Ian. I'm going to give this next question to Jessica. What's the typical class size that you would have at Georgian for any of the computer studies programs?
Hi, everyone. Great to have you here. So for class size, the nice thing about Georgian is that they are smaller class sizes. So we're limited to about 40, 42, and that's on the high end. So it's often less than that. So the nice thing about that is that you really get to know your instructor very well. You're often working with the same group of students, so you form sort of a tight community there. The other thing too is that often I'll have students and I'll see them in the first semester, and then I'll see them again in semester 2 or 3. So that's always nice as well. It's a nice sense of community. So small class sizes and that sense of community.
Perfect. Thank you. I'm going to take it back to Ian again. So we have someone that's interested in technology and computer studies. They want to build and repair computers. What program would be the best in order to get into these businesses?
Yeah, so for the building of computers, and I think we got to change the question a little bit to more building systems and networks and virtualization, which is a really big part of our programs now. I would say computer system technician networking is probably the primary program there, but perhaps you've also been enjoying, programming. So then you got to look at some of the other programs like computer programmer. But generally speaking, if you like to build and create environments, administer and configure, then computer systems technician networking is the right program. But doing the hardware piece, we're seeing less and less jobs specifically, building a computer or doing the just putting servers together. Those jobs still exist to some degree, but less now, and more so on the virtualization and in the cloud, which is, just so everyone knows, is a very exciting and very interesting area. But we are seeing a lot more jobs focusing on that, and that still encompasses the computer system technician networking program.
Okay, and we have a similar follow-up question to that as well. Would Georgian's hardware-oriented courses be a good prerequisite for working for a company such as AMD or Intel?
Okay, so that I see where you're going with that, and it really depends. I mean, those companies will have tons of software developers and programmers. The computer system technician networking would fit in there as well. It really does depend on the role. I mean, if you're going to be working on those CPUs and GPUs and things like that, then you probably need an advanced degree after this. So maybe this is the right place for a base. Absolutely.
Perfect, thank you. So we have a question. I'm not sure who can help with big data, but they want to know what the best program would be to enter, to take before doing the big data program.
Well, I don't mind answering that.
Thanks, Ian.
Although Richard might be able to add to that as well. I think what we are seeing is a lot of our students who take big data, they also take one other postgrad. So that might be the information system security program or the research program. And they do seem to go, I think research and big data would really go well together. Richard can probably add more to that. But I've also seen a number of my students, our students, do the information security program and then big data. And there's quite a lot of success from that as well.
I think to add to that is that with the postgrad programs, they typically draw students from a fairly diverse backgrounds. So I think you can come into big data. You don't necessarily have to have a degree in computer science or have done college work in computer science. I think it's fairly diverse in terms of where people are coming from. So you get the full suite of courses to get you into a career in big data.
Perfect. I'm going to ask you another question, Richard. We have a student that's looking at the part-time research analyst program starting in January, and they want to know sort of when would their co-op begin or their internship place, and what kind of job perspectives would they have?
With our part-time students, we really work one-on-one with the students. It's very customized to meet the needs of the student. We offer a 2-semester program and a 3-semester program. And so we can, we would work with the individual, like, for example, the person who's asked the question, to come up with a plan to complete the program that works best for them. So, for example, we have one student currently part-time who works in a provincial government job. So they're kind of like, they don't want to leave their job, and they're kind of developing the skills. But the nice thing of it in terms of the courses, like she's taking qual research and survey methods. So those skills are readily transferable into her career, and she can use those skills, and those skills as she's progressing through the program, and they'll help her in terms of career advancement and getting into that research career that she wants.
Perfect. Thanks, Richard. I'm going to give this one to Jessica. Do you need to have any basic ideas in computer programming, system networking, web design to start the course, or can you come in with no knowledge at all?
Yeah, that's a great question. So we really see kind of a variety. We see some people with quite a bit of knowledge before entering the program, and then we see some who don't have any knowledge, and both is fine. So as your instructors, we kind of work with you, and we work within the class to, give extra challenges to those that already have a pretty good foundation, but also provide those foundational topics to help those that don't. And I was actually a student at Georgian, and I came into the program with no idea. I had no foundational knowledge there, and I think I did pretty well. So it's totally fine to come into it as a total newbie, or if you have knowledge, both is great.
Perfect. Thanks, Jessica. I'm going to give this one to Scott. There's a couple questions here, Scott. People are looking at pathways, and they want to know what kind of opportunities they can move either to university afterwards or even postgraduate programs through the college systems.
Sure, that's a good question. We work with universities to continue to look at, okay, say you've completed a 2-year diploma, or possibly even a 3-year advanced diploma here at Georgian. How can that be used as credit toward an undergraduate degree at a university? So, very often, for example, University of New Brunswick will give you a Bachelor of Business specializing in IT. They'll give you if I recall, instead of a 4-year program, that once you finished a 2-year diploma here, I think you're into 2.5 years at the university. So they're pretty generous in recognizing, you know, the applied content and learning that you've achieved through a diploma here, and then you're kind of on a fast track to then obtain a degree through one of these other universities. So that's, you know, we do have a number of students who come here, and this is just, you know, think of it as your academic career. You know, we champion lifelong learning. So oftentimes, not only that, people may be coming back and they may have already, maybe they've got a degree in business or some other discipline, or a diploma in graphic design, for example, and they've been working in the industry for years, and they come back to learn about web technology. So the pathways are varied, and you can kind of choose from a number of different routes to get to the career that you really envisioned for yourself. There are some on the Georgian website, by program, you can find which articulations or agreements we have with which universities, and you can see, you know, what credential you would need to earn here, and then what kind of credit you would be offered should you start a program elsewhere. So we have an entire team devoted to forging these, creating these opportunities for students, maintaining them, and growing them. So really, it comes down to think about what it is you think you would enjoy doing, and then we can help you find that path. And it may involve, you know, a diploma or a graduate certificate, like some of our students might finish a 2-year program or a 3-year advanced diploma, and then go into one of our grad certificates, right? To open more doors for themselves. So it comes down to, you know, what do you see yourself doing, and what things are you interested in? And then, you know, we can help you kind of find that path. And that's why we recognize that these partnerships are so valuable to our students.
Perfect. Thanks, Scott. I'm going to direct this next question to Ian. Has remote learning changed the programs in any significant way?
Yes, it has. It has changed our programs. Absolutely. I mean, let's be honest. It's tougher for instructor and student to, you know, get that more closer bond and really get to understand, you know, where we have challenges. But overall, I think it's gone pretty well, and we've learned a number of things to really, you know, we brought in there's some advantages as well, really. But yeah, there's definitely some challenges there, and it's totally different, no doubt about it. But I would say for computer system technician and information security, you can still get all that learning. You can still do all the same labs. You know, we do it a little bit differently. You're doing it obviously more remotely. You know, it's different, but it still works out pretty well. And you know, from a lab perspective, everyone still enjoys the labs. But yes, it is different. There's no doubt about it.
Perfect. Thank you. I'll throw this one to Scott. How big of a requirement is the personal notebook computer with specific specs for the computer programming programs?
Yeah, that's a good question. Really, we're not looking for a heap of horsepower. Like, you don't need to get the very latest and greatest computer. We also welcome different platforms. So, you know, you can bring a Linux notebook, Apple, you know, running OS 10 or any, you know, a Windows notebook. It doesn't really matter. Really, though, we're looking for like a current chipset, like somewhere like an i3, an i5, an i7, or something like that, or an AMD equivalent. Probably you're looking at, if you can get 8 megabytes or 8 gigs of RAM would be what we need. But beyond that, like, we don't really need you know, an ultra powerful notebook with a you know, with the latest GPU. You don't need to spend a ton of money. There's even you know, and like Ian was talking a little bit about some of these cloud providers. Increasingly now, some of the IDEs and programming environments that we have are web-based. They're powered by cloud and internet applications. So we even have we have a cart full of Google Chromebooks as well, which is kind of it's the notebook built by the web. So there's yeah. So we encourage you to, as a student, to kind of spread your wings a little bit. The more platforms you're comfortable using, the better. But in terms of your personal computer, really that's your choice. But a reasonably current chipset, 8 gigs of RAM, running Linux, Windows, or Mac OS 10 is more than enough. So you don't need to spend you don't need to break the bank and buy the greatest gaming notebook you can find.
Perfect. Thank you, Scott. I'm going to throw this question over to Richard. So it's a 3-part question, Richard. 1, so how's remote learning changed your program? 2, what type of projects are your students working on? And 3, is it all market research or other type of research?
Okay, speaking to remote learning, well, first of all, many of our industry partners, for example, Environics, they were, for the last number of years, they've had remote work. So I remember going with the students for a presentation there last year on a Friday, and the office was completely empty because they encourage people to work remotely. They also do a lot of their research online. So they run online surveys, online focus groups. And in terms of the experience for the students so far this semester, it's actually been working really well. One thing I was really kind of like worried about was kind of like the connection amongst the students. But in RAP, you go through the program as one cohort. So roughly 30 some students, you all take the same courses together through the semester. And the students, for example, they have a WhatsApp chat. They also have a Microsoft Team room where they meet. So they've really worked well together, and the students in the group have really formed a fairly strong bond. We're able to offer all the technology that we need through the college, and I have to say to the college admin that they've done an excellent job, giving us the infrastructure to allow us to run our programs. In terms of work, we have our major research project, which is our capstone project, which students work on in the second semester, and that is work with an external client who actually needs real research done. That's both on the program evaluation side, so working with public sector agencies, non-for-profits, for example, evaluating programs, and there's also marketing research that they do. Our employers, and that's about 50-50 market research, program evaluation, and then our industry partners that employ RAP students, both as under the co-ops and then with full-time employment. That's a good solid mix of program evaluation jobs and market research jobs. And I will say we have a great success in terms of students when they go into a co-op. Often they're hired from that co-op into a full-time position at the organization where they serve their co-op.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Richard. I'm going to give the next question to Jessica. So we have a student that wants to know about remote learning and the supports that are in place, and how are the teachers interacting remotely with our students?
Yeah, another great question. So we are using WebEx, which is pretty much like Zoom, if you're familiar with Zoom. So we're doing sort of video conferencing. I think for our program, the transition has been pretty good. We're computer studies, so we're able to do a lot of things online. The other thing too is we're using different technologies like Microsoft Teams. Some profs are using Slack. And these are all technologies that are being used in the industry, so it's kind of a nice introduction to those. As far as the classes, for the most part, we're trying to do a synchronous option. So that's in real time. You actually, you attend the class via WebEx. But we're also recording those sessions so that if students aren't able to attend them, they have the opportunity to watch it later. So it does provide a bit of flexibility. So as well, you know, profs are trying to be very available for online office hours. We're doing the same thing. We're using WebEx so that we can do a nice face-to-face meeting with the students, as well as, you know, just keeping on top of our emails so that students feel supported and connected during remote learning.
Perfect. Thank you, Jessica. I'm going to throw this one to Ian. So two-part question. What's a typical day like in the program? And what are the grad stats and where are our students getting jobs at?
Okay, so for the first piece, what is a typical day? So typically, I mean, I guess there is no typical day really. I mean, you typically will have 18 hours, 6 courses, and you know, most of those courses will be our core computer courses. You'll also have possibly your gen ed or your communications course to make up that 6. But they could be, you know, you might have a day off Thursday, you might have Friday off, you might have 2 courses in the same day. It really does depend on which program and which you know, section you're in, and you can change your schedule to some degree if there is space available. But typically, you know, for example, I was teaching a class on Thursday. You know, we'd have our synchronous period. We'd record that session for students who, you know, might not be able to make it. They can watch it at a later date, and then we'd have an assignment that, you know, might be due a week later, and you'd have a number of assignments over the semester. It depends on the program, but typically our program, CSTN and information security, it does look that way. Now going to your the second part of that question, which was grad stats. I do not have grad stats available right now. I might be able to talk to the associate dean and pull something out, but I will say computer studies is just really popular, and we see, you know, a lot of success in the job market right now. I can speak to, you know, all of our programs are doing really well. Even when, you know, COVID hit in March and our students were looking for you know, summer co-ops or May co-ops, and you think, you know, the country was kind of stopping for a while, we still were able to get co-op positions and full-time jobs, even with things going, you know, it looked bad for a while there. We were pleasantly surprised to see all the successes we had. Now, of course, most of those jobs, if not all of them, for a time were remote, and you know, that's how it looks like it's going to be for most computer studies jobs for at least the next year or so, anyway. But yeah, from that perspective, it looks great.
Perfect, thank you. And we'll sneak one last question in. I'll throw it over to Scott. This is a computer programming related question, but I think it covers most of the programs here. Is how's how's work completed? Is it mostly tests, exams, papers, or hands-on projects?
Scott, you are currently muted.
Thank you, my apologies. Yeah, that's a great question. We recognize when we're delivering these courses, each of the instructors, that people have different learning styles. And so it's important, even though we're running in an online capacity, you know, we try and present the material in a way. First of all, we do have synchronous learning, so whereby you're watching and learning and interacting in real time. You know, you're following along with. We provide, you know, materials for you to follow along with. You know, during a class, you can type. You know, if you want to fire up your video or your sound and ask a question, or if you're more comfortable just typing in the chat bar. So we offer, I guess, as much of that kind of live, real classroom experience as we can, but also in terms of, you know, how do we assess how, you know, what you've learned. I think, you know, I speak for myself, but knowing you know, the very creative ways that our faculty have come up with assessing people's skills. There's, you know, you're going to be taking some online quizzes, online tests, which are multiple choice, true and false, mix and match, fill in the blank, maybe offering some code snippets to be marked. There'll be assignments. You know, some of them will be, you'll go off and work on your own. Some of them will be group assignments where you'll be able to collaborate. Like Jessica noted, that we've We've moved to using collaborative tools like Teams. You know, there are ways that we can connect students in groups, and they can work together on submitting assignments and projects. You know, so yeah, there's a variety. We don't just lecture all term and then present you with a final exam and see how much of that you retained. We're trying to assess often in different ways, and we're trying to assess early as well. So when students if they're struggling with a concept or something isn't quite clear, we try and connect with them early in the course and see, you know, how we can assist and how we can kind of eliminate any of those roadblocks to your learning.
Perfect. Thank you. So I would just like to give our panel a big thank you for joining us today, and I hope we answered a lot of your questions. Do not forget to visit our application hub for help applying.